What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Power Book 4, Season 2, Episode 3. Am I that far behind? I guess I am. Anyway, I think this is Episode 4. No, it's Episode 3. Okay. So, Retribution is in play after, Chewie took a shot at, Tommy, and of course he missed. So the first thing, Tommy has to tell Diamond what's going on. And Diamond was like, bruh, I told you that, going after Chewie was going to start a war. And, Tommy was like, yeah, you did. Okay, you were right. But we got to deal with this now. So Diamond was like, look, I'll go talk to Janard. He said, no, I'll go talk to Janard. And Diamond was like, only if you promise that you won't escalate the situation. Now, my thing is this. It's Tommy. What you mean, as long as you promise you won't escalate the situation? You have to know that Tommy is going to escalate every time. But okay, you let Tommy go handle the situation, and Tommy went and he told Janard basically either you take care of old boy that took a shot at me, or I'm gonna take care of him. Like, it's really that simple. And he realizes that Janard really doesn't have any control over his crew. Like, Janard didn't even know that dude took a shot at him. So he was like, so you told your crew not to do it and they did it anyway. That tells me you ain't really got no control over what's going on over there. They also realized, Tommy and Diamond also realized that they need to get rid of the stuff they stole, like, ASAP. Um, so Diamond decides that he gonna push up on one old girl that he been messing with, who happens to be a corrections officer down to the jail. Now, I'm not clear on whether this was something that was started while he was in the jail and they just kind of carried it over, or he just happened to see her on the street one day and was like, hey, I know you from the jail, and they started hooking up. But neither here nor there, child. Neither here nor there. It is what it is. So he kind of approaches her with the idea of starting to run drugs through the jail. Now, at first she acted like she wasn't feeling it. She wasn't here for it. And then she was like, nah, I'm playing with you. What you trying to do? So they come up with a plan that they're going to start running the drugs through the jail. Because they feel like it's too dangerous for them to try to run it anywhere in the city. Because, of course, if it gets back to the Serbs or to Miguel that somebody's out there selling their stuff, then that's real dangerous. So they figure the jail is a safe space. Until we get to the jail situation and we find out that the guy that Diamond put in a wheelchair in the first episode back in the beginning of the show, he's running drugs through the jail and he's running them for the Serbs. So my thing is, isn't that the same problem? That you're running their drugs? Like, at some point, don't you think they're gonna realize that this influx of drugs is coming from somewhere? I don't know, because to me the jail don't seem like it's that far. If old girl work at the jail and she's sleeping with Diamond every night, it can't be that far of a drive. I'm just saying. Neither here nor there. We'll get to that when we get to that. So there's a whole rally where we find out that the task force did happen, right? Unfortunately, the death of the little girl did lead to the district attorney, the U.S., I think she's an ADA, she's able to get the task force that she's been trying to get. Okay. Um, um, and it was a whole rally. They had a little boy there that was preaching, a little young guy there that was moving the crowd. Later on in the episode, we see where Diamond ends up giving him like a free haircut because his parole officer told him he need to start doing more community work and maybe he could give out some free haircuts. And Diamond was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So he gives this little boy a free haircut. But he sees that the little boy's being bullied and that the neighborhood kids are giving him a hard time. So Diamond gonna take him under his wing. So I don't know. I guess that's gonna be his new protege, but in a good way, because I think Diamond really supports what he's doing to try to stop the violence, which is so ironic because it's the violence that Diamond is starting. But child, neither here nor there. Down to the house, child, we see D and half brother trying to have a conversation, and D lets him know. He was like, listen, I just want to know why you leave me hanging. Like, what was that all about? And he was like, I didn't leave you hanging. Like, your mother kept you from me and I tried to find you. He was like, bruh, I found you before you found me. So let's be clear. He said, how hard were you really looking? How hard were you really trying to find me? And he had to kind of be like, well, you kind of got a point, but they get interrupted by, Tommy showing up with a gun to unload. He tells him, look, keep the house safe. hold on to my gun and use it if you need it. So of course D is like, what's up? Let me get my gun back. And they're like, no. And he's like, why? And they're like, because you don't need no gun. Like, we're trying to keep you out the game. Like, you can't keep going in the game. And of course he throws a whole fit. Now half brother ends up putting the gun in the drawer. I knew when he put the gun in the drawer what was going to end up happening. Duh, the boy gonna take the gun. You didn't lock it up. You didn't put it nowhere. You didn't even take out the ammunition. Neither here nor there. At the end of the episode, that's exactly what he ends up doing. He ends up picking up the gun and taking it. So whatever happens, happens with that. Now down to the police, the FBI, whatever. We got our task force starting off. Well, we found out that the district attorney is married to the cop. And he is pissed because he told her, listen, I told you I didn't want to have nothing to do with this little game you playing with my boss, right? And here you go, putting me in the middle of it. You specifically requested me for this task force. She was like, yes, because you're the best detective out there. He said, it doesn't matter. I asked you to keep me out of this. So now you specifically requested me. And so now I'm in the middle of this. And I'm going to do my job. Let's be clear. I'm going to find out who killed that little girl before the end of the day. But just know that I got a problem with it. And I see you. You didn't put our marriage and everything else in front of your behind your ambitions to be mayor. So I said, oh, okay, she's trying to be political. Okay, so she got a whole thing going on. And he was pissed off about it. And I understand it. Okay, he told her, keep me out of this. Now, while this is going on, they in the basement of the barbershop packing up the pills so they going to slide into the jail. Okay, that they're going to slide into the jail. And one of the runner, he ends up coming up from the basement with a bag full of drugs, just as Diamond's parole officer is sitting in the chair. And I think just as he started feeling like Diamond was maybe on the up and up, now he see this. And of course they tried to play it off and all of that, but he ain't buying it. He see it for what it is. Now the question is he dirty or not? Because if he dirty, now he gonna want a piece of the pie. But if he's straight, now he gonna really be giving Diamond a whole hard time, because he definitely suspects that there's something going on. Tommy is still flirting with Miguel's sister, and I just think that's a whole stupid storyline, because that just doesn't end well for anybody. Tommy mama come by, and she is in AA, and she is working her program. Now, she says she's been sober for 10 days, yet she is on step 9 of the 13. Is it 12 steps? 12 steps. I don't know how you got to step 9 so fast, but either way, she says she is there to make amends. And Tommy was like, I really don't have time for this right now. Like, I really got other stuff going on. And she said, no, Tommy, I really need to make amends. I need your time. And Tommy was like, oh, you want to make amends? Oh, okay, cool. Sit down. What are we making amends for? And so she goes through this whole thing. She pulls out a notebook with a long piece of paper, and she says, I want to say, Tommy, I'm sorry. Tommy was like, that's it? She said, well, what did you want me to say? He said, you got a whole paper right there. What's on the list? What did you write down? And so he started going through all the times that his mama disappointed him, starting with the age of 3, child. She was like, so you just got a whole list? Like, you just been waiting for this? You've been holding on to this all these years? And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, you did this, you did this, you did that. He said, look, I ain't got time. So then she tries to do the same thing with the other brother. And he was like, she said the same thing. She was like, I'm sorry. And he stared at her, and she was like, what? He said, I mean, I accept that and everything, but I just need to know why. Like, why did you leave me? And she said, well, I was young. I was only 14. He said, you were only 16 when you had Tommy. She said, but it was different. He said, well, why? Because I was black. And so she was like, no, don't say that. Why would you say that? Well, at the end of the day, we see her at a AA meeting where she basically says that it was because he was black. Because her mom kept telling her it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. And so she just kind of basically gave in and was like, you know what, you're right. It's going to be hard trying to raise this black baby. 1, at 14, and 2, is a whole black baby. And she's like, I just don't know what to do with all these feelings, because normally I would just get drunk or I get high, and I can't do that now. So we see her struggling with that, child. So while they're going through all of this, Miguel summons Tommy and Diamond down to his lair, child. And we see that he thinks he done figured out who snitched on him to the Serbs. And, of course, he's doing what he does best. He's torturing them. Now, he made Tommy and Diamond, participate in the whole situation. And Tommy was like, why you bring us down here for all of this? He was like, I just need to let y'all know what happens when people betray me. Okay, point taken. Like, what you, point taken, bruh. Okay, what you want me to say? Now, while this is going on, Jannar is looking for the dude that took a shot at Tommy, because of course he got to take care of him. His crew is not feeling it. His crew is not supporting him at all. He ends up going to the boxer, old girl, down to the boxing match, and she tries to tell him, look, your crew not supporting you because they don't agree with the call, and you really can't, if you off him, you gonna have a full mutiny. And he was like, so I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, because if I let him live and he went against the direct order, now I'm in trouble. But if I don't, but if I take care of it, now you telling me that the rest of my crew, it's gonna be a mutiny. He was like, I don't know what to do with this. He ends up finding the little boy. He's down to his grandmother's house. I say little boy, he's a young man. The detective finds him at the grandma's house, as well as Jannar. So the detective just tells the grandmother, look, I just want to talk to him. The grandmother was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't got nothing for you. Of course, Jannar rolls up on him, and Jannar's like, yo, he pulls a gun on him. Well, grandma comes up out of there with her little Toll House cookies. And she tells him, she said, listen, if you kill my grandson, you might as well go ahead and kill me. Because you and that cauliflower ear you got are not going to be that hard to identify in a lineup. So, of course, Jannar, he's sort of like, okay, I can't do it. Now, Tommy got one of his people following Jannar to make sure Jannar does it. Because Tommy's like, listen, either Jannar going to handle it or I'm going to handle it. So, it's gonna be one or the other. Now, while all of this is going on, the Flynns are down, they trying to make this deal with the pharmaceutical guy to sell their drugs all down to the hood. And they done cleaned out Claudia. Okay, the daddy done went up in Claudia's apartment and stole all her money, all her jewelry, cut off her credit cards, basically putting her in a position where she has to come back to him. She's pissed off, and she is like, listen, I'm not a child anymore. Like, you can't just cut off my credit cards and just try to get me to, follow behind you. And of course, daddy is like, but I can. So they get ready to go make that deal where they give the dude the money so they can get all of their pills. And of course, the son is there, and dude makes a comment about, yeah, we just taking care of a bunch of monkeys. And the son was like, excuse me, because remember, the love of his life was black, so he wasn't feeling that. He was like, really? Oh, okay. So he plays it off a little bit. But when it's time for them to make the drop, for them to get their pills, he ends up calling the police. So the guy that's supposed to deliver the pills to them ends up getting arrested, and they lose their pills. So old dude gonna come back to Flynn talking about look, both of us lost, because, Flynn was like, I need my money back. Like, I paid you for a product that you didn't deliver. And he was like, well, my man got arrested. He was like, listen, I'll split the money with you because we both lost. Flynn was like, we didn't both lose nothing. Like, you lost. Your man, like, you took my money. I didn't get my product. It's not my fault why I didn't get my product. We're not splitting shit. Well, before they could finish the negotiation, Vic done shot old boy, okay? And, of course, Flynn is like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do that? Because I need my money. And of course, we know that Vic is really just trying to destroy the organization from the inside out. So it was really a 2-for-1, basically, because it was like, listen, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this little racist dude. But I can also put you in a bad situation, because he was like, listen, you put me in a bad spot with Ireland. Like, I owe them that money, okay? So Tommy ain't forgot that he trying to find out who killed Liliana. He's convinced that it was Claudia, which it was. So he rolls up on Claudia. Well, he rolls up on Flynn first to try to see if Flynn will admit that Claudia did it. Flynn doesn't admit that Claudia did it, but he pretty much lets it be known that Claudia did it. So then Tommy runs up on Claudia. Now, I'm going to give Claudia credit. She held to the lie that it wasn't her. Even though Tommy had a whole gun to her neck. Her security was there ready to shoot Tommy. She was like, go ahead and shoot me. You're not going to get real far. And of course, Tommy was like, you right. He said, but I know you killed her. And as soon as I get proof, I am going to get you. Tommy ends up rolling up on one of her security guards to be like, listen, tell me what you know. And of course, he wouldn't tell Tommy nothing. So Tommy killed him. They're down to the jail. We see the whole exchange. We see that how the girl sneaks the drugs through the popcorn, and Diamond's girlfriend, sees the whole thing and she peeps it. Well, back to the old dude in the wheelchair that Diamond, took care of in the first episode. He was like, what's really going on? Like, why those not our guys that's moving them drugs? Where these other drugs coming from? Well, come to find out, Diamond sends, a lawyer, aka one of his people, to go in there and give old boy a deal he can't turn down, I guess. Um, but he lets it be known. He was like, "Ain't no way in the world. I am absolutely positively am not ever working with CCB and Diamond, because he put me in this bullshit, and there's no love there. So there's nothing you could do, say, to make me decide that I'm going to work with this person." So the security guard is basically framing Wheelchair Boy and puts him in a position where he ends up taking the deal. Now, personally, I think he's setting it up. I think he's going along with the get along until he know more information, and he's going to set the whole thing up. And I really personally think that old girl going to end up, I think the security guard going to end up dead sooner rather than later, because she showed herself and she tipped her hand. They knew that he had to have somebody on the inside, but they didn't know who it was. And I just feel like she tipped her hand way too soon. It just seemed to me like Diamond could have set something else up, make him have another accident. I don't know. I just feel like something could have happened without him exposing her, because it's clear that old boy has security guards on the inside as well. So it just seemed to me like it was just not that smart for her to expose him. But child, neither here nor there. Jannard is rolling, out in them streets. And the Serbs roll up on him and end up stealing his car, right? They end up stealing his car and leaving him stranded. So he ends up having to call old boy, the dude that took the shot at Tommy, to come pick him up. Now remember, Grandma done already said, if my grandson pop up dead, I'm eyeballing you. And at first, when Tommy was like, well, if he don't do it, I'm gonna do it, I was like, oh, Tommy gonna end up doing that dude, and Jannard is gonna pay the price. Well, Jannard gets in the car, and Jannard is sniffing, right? I mean, he got some drugs. He's sniffing drugs. And old boy told him, like, never get high on your own supply. He was like, what you mean? What you mean? What you trying to say? He was like, I'm just saying, you told us never get high on your own supply, and I'm just looking at you getting high. I'm just wondering. And he was like, well, what you snitching on me? What you snitching? He was like, I know you talked to the police. He was like, I know you talked to the police. He was like, you snitching on me now? You snitching? And he was like, I ain't snitching. He was like, what you got on a wire? And he jumps on the dude, and the two of them go back and forth. And Jannard pulls his gun, and old boy pulls his gun. And Jannard actually ends up strangling him to death. So you done messed around and killed the little boy. Well, he ain't a little boy. He dumps the body and rolls out. And of course, Tommy was there. Tommy saw the whole thing, so he verified that Jannard did it. Later on that night, we see Jannard buying drugs off the corner like a little common addict, right? And I was like, wow, like Jannard has really fallen, and y'all already know where this is going to end up. Like, you are strung out, like your organization is already falling apart. You getting strung out on drugs, that is not going to help, because he bought heroin, baby. He is on that heroin, okay? The cop ends up finding the boy's body, and of course he's like, damn, like I was really trying to turn him. I was really trying to get him on our side, and that didn't really work out too well. They go to Miguel, Diamond, and Tommy to get another re-up. And Miguel is very suspicious. Miguel is like, y'all just came to me last week to get a re-up. Now y'all want another re-up. He was like, and y'all paying, that's cool. But how, where, and how are y'all getting, like, how y'all moving all this weight? And they were like, oh, we got a new supply. We running it through the jail. He was like, the Serbs are running through the jail. And they were like, not now. Like, we got to connect. Baby. Miguel was like, yeah, I don't have nothing for y'all. Let me think about this. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Miguel is thinking as far as he's nervous, distrustful. I don't know. But I don't know, if I was Tommy and Diamond, I'd be getting a little nervous that Miguel turning looking at them like, nah, I don't know about this one. Let me think about it. Because, I mean, who got to think about making money? Anyway, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all think. I will talk to y'all later.